Howdy gamers, old gamer guy here. God of War Ragnarok has arrived, and we are going to take a highly edited look at the first hour of gameplay. There is a short recap video to get you at least somewhat up to speed with the story, but I really recommend playing that first game, the previous game to this one. And then even though they are very different games, I would also highly recommend playing the first three God of War games. But never mind that. This is about Ragnarok. This will be much shorter than my usual first hour impressions videos because if you've played these games before, you know there's a lot of storytelling going on here. Conversations can break out at any time, even in the middle of combat. So I'm going to avoid as many spoilers as possible, but Atreus is visibly older than he was in the last game, and he's clearly got some secrets, and I really don't like that little smile he gave Kratos there. He had a weird look on his face. I didn't like that. That kind of made me nervous. This lady is clearly still quite irritated with Kratos and Atreus, and I won't go into why that is, but again, play at least the previous game. I really think you should because several characters from that game are appearing in this one, including our old friend, what was his name? Mimir. He's a disembodied head that nevertheless is still quite talkative, and he's kind of the comic relief. And, well, if you know anything about Kratos' life, you know that if anybody needs comic relief, it is Kratos. But at the very least, he apparently gets to have a nice nap every once in a while, and he has what starts out as sort of a pleasant dream involving his late wife. But by the end of this dream, things have taken a strange turn, and Kratos awakens quite agitated to find that Atreus is now missing, or at least he has never come back to the cabin. And so Kratos, being the good father that, well, let's be honest, Kratos is probably not really a good father, but he does go out to look for Atreus.
Where's Atreus?
I think I may have my brightness settings a little bit too low, or maybe the HDR brightness a little bit too low, but you can see that this is a really nice looking game. I'm playing in performance mode here, which is 60 frames per second, and I guess it's a dynamic resolution. But I thought I might as well show you what quality mode looks like, which will be 30 frames per second, and but it will be 4K, so it's noticeably sharper. But the frame rate, the lower frame rate, is more obvious to me when I'm actually playing than when I am editing this video here. So I'm going to be playing this in performance mode. Both of them look very nice, though. So, do what you like. But Kratos heads out to look for Atreus, and it's not long before the trail ends mysteriously, but we get into our first combat. And I'm going to shut up while this plays so you can hear what it sounds like while you watch. But this feels very similar, if not identical, to the previous game. The first three games of the series had very, very different sort of a combat feel to them and look to them. But this feels almost identical to God of War 2018.
Nicely done. Watch your leg!
Kratos is obviously quite capable and quite formidable right from the very start, and he only becomes more so throughout the game. But it's a lot of fun to play as this guy. He is a brutal killing machine. The structure of the game seems so far to be very similar to the previous one. These areas are not huge, but sometimes you do get some branching pathways. Here we have found some blood and a dead bear, which is kind of ominous. No sign of Atreus. And yeah, like I said before, storytelling can start happening right before your very eyes at any time. Sometimes, just like in the previous game, we get these little connecting tunnels. And what's really happening here is that the game would be loading the next area as you travel through this tunnel, and it kind of forces you to slow down. But I think the PS5's solid-state drive is so fast that that's not really required for PS5, so I assume all of those connecting little tunnels are really there for the PS4 version, which is kind of interesting and a little bit disappointing because I feel like the game is probably being held back to some extent by the PS4, but maybe not. I'm not a developer, so what the hell do I know? Nothing, that's what. But we keep following the trail down into these caves, and we run into at least one other type of enemy with a sling, a ranged attack. And we get into several battles like this as we go along. But eventually, we emerge from the caves. And we're about to get one of those moments where gameplay seamlessly becomes a movie. And then the movie seamlessly goes back into gameplay because we have reached the first boss battle. I'm going to shut up and let this play again, so you can watch this battle and hear it in all its glory. But I am going to edit the very, very end of the battle because there is a major spoiler that happens just directly after this battle. I'm sure that spoiler is all over YouTube already. But like I said, I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, and that is a large one.
it! Grab him! He's looking shaky, boss!
With the bear defeated, we find Atreus nearby, and now he is our companion. And so he will be hanging around the edge of the battles, and sometimes he'll actually get in and start doing some hand-to-hand combat of his own, but mostly he will use his bow. And like Kratos, you can level up Atreus' skills and his weaponry and his armor, and he will become more capable through the game, but he is pretty good already here at the very beginning. As we fight this first small group of enemies. There's another one of those guys with the slings. Yeah, you can see Atreus in there swinging his bow, it looks like.
This one.
On the way back to the cabin, Atreus displays some healing abilities. So he has developed some magical skill at some point. We found out surprising things about Atreus during the story of the first game, and I'm sure that will continue in this game. But he apparently heals this tree, and then he and Kratos head back to the cabin, and it looks like they're about to get some well-deserved sleep, but it is not to be. And I'm going to let this last little bit play without me talking over it and ruining it, because it's a pretty cool little scene. Long story short, I like this very much. For my next video, we will be getting back to the Stellaris campaign. But for now, as always, thanks very much for watching.
Can I come in? I have mead.
You would not find me good company.
No. I'm sure we'll find lots to talk about.